All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders, like Millstone, who teach very well, want this truth from. And sanitation out there to the hopeful elect who continue to push this word in our truth, faith, and sincerity. And also, shalom to the million and children who sincerely believe upon the words of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. And today, man, just basically getting on Esau fighting against himself, man. Because at the end of the day, people saying Russia and America, they are the two same people, man. And ultimately, they're fighting against themselves. Why? Because it's biblical prophecy, man. For ultimately, these devils to tear down themselves. Whether it be by physically, and Russia versus America, or whether it be through certain secrets, man. What's the scripture say in the book of Psalms? Your tongue shall fall upon you. It's even certain elites bringing out key information on how they are the devil, man. So let's go ahead and start off right here in the book of Matthew 12 in verse 26. It says, "In the same cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?" And we can clearly see that right now, man. Saint is divided against Saint. Let's play this video real quick with Poon, man. And one thing about I like this guy Poon, but when he talking in this video, he leaning it back and forth, to show you the seriousness of it.
Для защиты нашей Родины, нашего нажать предложение Министерства обороны и Генерального штаба о проведении в Российской Федерации частичной мобилизации, но и о высказываниях некоторых высокопоставленных представителей.
Right here, it says, in regards to the statements of some top representatives leading NATO about the possibility and legitimacy of using weapons of mass destruction against Russia. So basically, they're trying to pull that thing out on their own brother. Let's get the one in Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19 in verse 2. It says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians." Now, that word Egyptian, it basically represents bondage, man. Because it's even people over there in Russia that's in bondage, man. People over here in America, they're in bondage by the way of with Social Security numbers. But let's continue on. It says, "And they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." So this is biblical prophecy coming to pass right before our eyes, man. And he's talking about regarding NATO. He actually calling out names, man. Making a diss track, But for the lack of better words, hey, it's all going to be the lead up into what? World War III, man. Real talk. Let's get this real quick. Revelation 11 and verse 14. So like Revelation 11 and verse 14, it says the second one was passed, and behold, the third one coming quickly. And right there, man, it says the second one was passed, and the third one coming quickly. We can see the things heating up, man, upon the planet Earth, man. We can see biblical prophecy is flourishing right now, man. And ain't nothing these Edomites can do to stop the prophecy of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Read this, go back again.
Штаба о проведении в Российской Федерации частичной мобилизации, но и о высказываниях некоторых высокопоставленных представителей ведущих государств НАТО о возможности и допустимости применения против России оружия массового поражения, ядерного оружия. Хочу напомнить, что наша страна также располагает различными средствами поражения, а по отдельным компонентам и более современными, чем у страны.
And what do he mean by that? Brothers can read the subtitle. He basically saying y'all trying to test us about the nuclear missiles, but he's saying that his nuclear missiles is more modern. And they even came out. They got a nuclear missile right now called the Same 2. There's one missile called Moab, the mother of all bombs.
И при угрозе территориальной целостности нашей страны для защиты России и нашего народа мы безусловно используем.
Like that, that's better on there. He basically saying he's going to use it to protect them, but you can see his countenance, man. You can see how he's rocking back and forth. You can see the passion in his words. Now, real quick, let's flip side and to the other Edomites, man. Because the Russian Edomites and the American Edomites are built different. Let's play a little bit of this.
Now, Russia's calling up more soldiers to join the fight. And the Kremlin is organizing a sham referendum to try to annex parts of Ukraine, an extremely significant violation of the UN Charter. This world should see these outrageous acts for what they are. Putin claims he had to act because Russia was threatened. But no one threatened Russia. And no one other than Russia sought conflict. Because if nations can pursue their imperial ambitions without consequences, then we put at risk everything this very institution stands for.
I don't like that. As you being a fucking hypocrite, man, because you guys bombed the Middle East for hell and back to get certain riches, man, to get the oil and things like that, and even going to Britain with South Africa and things like that. These guys have never paid for the action of their consequences, but when somebody else do the same thing that you did, now it's a problem, man. But at the end of the day, man, just going back to the main topic of the video, you can see the countenance of these two different leaders, man. As you can see the countenance of Putin, how he's being passionate with his words, rocking back and forth with it. You know what I'm saying? You can see that this guy is ready. But as you can see that this guy, Biden, is full of lack of better words, ready for the taking, man. And that's what these Americans are. Every American is ready for the taking. Why? Because they are comfortable. Let's get this in the book of 1 Thessalonians, man. This is the book of 1 Thessalonians 5 and verse 1. It says, but of the times and seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. Why do Apostle Paul say that, man? Because, hey, we can see it now, man. We can see the words that was written on these pages. They starting to jump off now, man. Continuing on. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh after thief, that the day of the Lord cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, and that's the spirit of these Americans, man. They can't be touched. You can go over there to the Middle East or go over there to Europe or Africa or Asia and set up shop. Because, hey, when you really look at it, man, a lot of these Americans during the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, early 2010s, hey, they started setting up shops over in China, sweatshops, because labor is cheaper over there, man. So you got your hand in there too, man. But at the same time, these Americans think they can't be touched, man. They think that they got everything figured out, man. But one thing you ain't got figured out is the prophecy, man. And what prophecy that you ain't got figured out? That ultimately this place is going to get hit with missiles, man. Read this again. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So you're not going to be able to escape the perils of Yahweh Hashem Abishai. You're not going to be able to escape the dangers that the Lord is finna get ready to bring upon the planet Earth, man. Why? Because it's already written in prophecy for the Lord to take you down and to bring up the nation of Israel. But how is the Lord going to take this devil down? Is he going to take this devil down with hugs and kisses? No, he was going to take this devil down the same way that he came up, man. And that's why it's always a big talk of nuclear missiles now, man. It's a big talk of bombs, man. You know why? Because the spirit of the Lord is working throughout the planet Earth, man. Let's get this real quick in the book of Psalms. Because at the end of the day, the Lord have set this guy up to ultimately just be taken down, man. This is the book of Psalms 7. Psalm 7, and I'm gonna start at verse 11. It says, the Most High judges the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. And the Lord, he is angry just to see how you run the planet Earth, man. And if I leave you with my vineyard and I come back and I see my vineyard mess up, then I'm gonna be angry, man. And that's how, because it's the same way you're supposed to keep a plant, and it's the same way you're supposed to run the planet Earth, man. And clearly Esau, Edom haven't been running the planet Earth in righteousness. He haven't been running the planet Earth in life. No, he's been running the planet Earth in death, man. So the Lord just gonna have to take this nigga out. Verse 12, if he turn not, he will wet his sword. He have bent his bow and made it ready. What is that talking about? Those ICBM nuclear missiles and those silos, man. It says he had also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutor. So guess what? The ICBM nuclear missiles are ready. That's why Putin is talking about it. Saying you testing our weapons, not knowing that our weapons outweighs more guys than NATO. You know, because really a lot of the big dogs of NATO is America, France, guys like that, man. Those are really the big dogs. But for the lack of better words, you're going to, weaker countries and things like that. Countries that really ain't got that much money, they ain't really got that much, military force. They use America as a covering now, man. Continuing on. It says, if he have not prepared, he have also prepared for him the instruments of death, he ordained his arrows against the persecutors. I can read this again. It says, he also prepared for him the instruments of death. What's the instruments of death? Those ICBM nuclear missiles. It says he ordained these arrows against the persecutors. Who was that? Esau, Edom, the same guys who created it. Verse 14, behold, he travailed with iniquity, and he hath conceived mischief and brought forth falsehood. And guys like Joe Biden, he made a statement earlier in the video saying Russia never did the consequences of their actions. But what about the consequences of the actions of these Americans, man? Desert storm, man. You bombing the Middle East and hell and back, and then turn around and fund the most wicked city, man. For lack of better words, the culture that you push forth, man. That's that falsehood and that mischief that you brought up. And the only thing that's going to solve that is fire. But continuing on, though, it says he have made a pit and digged it and is falling into the ditch which he made. Yes, man, because you're ultimately going to fall into your own trap. Continuing on, because you go back into the times when they made the missiles and things like that, for the lack of better words, they never thought that nobody would have been able to get hold to their technology. Now people can get hold to their technology with something as simple as an email, man. Continuing on, it says his mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealings shall come down upon his own pate. And that's how you know it's going to be an aerial attack that's going to ultimately take this place down, man. That's why it's a thing of missile talk now, man. Because nobody is worried about, we're just going to invade the land. No, we're going to invade. Soon as the word invade start getting thrown in there, then nuclear is going to get thrown in there, man. Because nobody went, because they told us, we got to protect Ukraine. Ukraine is so precious that you got to nuke somebody over it. No. Ukraine ain't shit. It's just biblical prophecy coming to pass before our eyes. This is ended off on here. Isaiah 9 and verse 5. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And this how this is going to end, man. Esau versus Esau, man. And they're going to use both of their own weapons, and they're going to cancel each other out. If I'm blessed with the sword and you blessed with the sword, and we use the same thing, it's going to cancel each other out, man. So that's what's going to happen to the rulership of Esau. So I just pray this video was edifying and say, Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash, Shalom, DTA.